Make your money stack.
Hey, how's it going everyone? Ace here. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're watching this, congratulations, you survived 2020. Woo! And even though, like everyone else, I've left that vile, godforsaken year far, far, far back in the rearview mirror, I was stoked to be able to end it with another virtual Tomorrowland event. So today I wanted to review my experience of Tomorrowland New Year's Eve, but before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. I also wanted to plug that we are now in the category of millennials that got on TikTok because of the pandemic. Go ahead and give my personal TikTok and the BeatStop account a follow. I'll put the links in the description below. So I'm gonna go right into the stage design because it really is the highlight of their virtual format, and it's what sets virtual Tomorrowland apart from other virtual events that we've been seeing. So there are 4 stages in total. Most of them took inspiration directly from a past Tomorrowland event, which I thought was really cool. So first is Atmosphere. This was their house and techno stage, and it was a partially enclosed, elevated venue with a really clean, kind of futuristic look. It felt very much like a futuristic nightclub, or like you were, I don't know, dancing inside of an alien spaceship. Atmosphere was inspired from their real-life Atmosphere stage from Tomorrowland 2018. The second stage, and my personal favorite, was Melodia. Melodia had more of their more mainstream acts, a lot of progressive and big room house. It consisted of a giant, magical-looking tree, like the one from Avatar, enclosed in a glass dome. The ground level architecture looked like a mix of like a classical concert hall and a Roman amphitheater. The design drew inspiration from their 2015 theme, The Secret Kingdom of Melodia, and I believe it combined it with the Elixir of Life theme from 2016, which I think is where the tree comes from. The third stage was called Planaxis. A mix of subgenres were present on this stage. They had some house, some trap, a little bit of Snoop Dogg somehow made its way in there. And this one was really cool. It was an enclosed sphere submerged underwater. They included a lot of props and structures that went with the ocean theme, and you could even see sea creatures swimming around the outside of the stage. It was really cool. The stage was inspired by their 2018 theme, The Story of Planaxis, which represented nature and the preservation of the natural world around us and things like that. And fourth was Pulse. It was the hardstyle stage. This was an outdoor futuristic island venue. So as far as the virtual platform, this stage was set apart in the ocean away from everything else. I believe this was an original design that didn't draw inspiration from a specific past stage, although I might be wrong. And I didn't watch any sets since I don't listen to hardstyle, so I was barely here and can't really speak to it. So Planaxis, Melodia, and Atmosphere created this sea, earth, sky theme, which I thought was really neat. My favorite stage was Melodia because honestly, I was just in awe of the overall design. I loved that the older architecture and the mystical feel from this tree contrasted with state-of-the-art audiovisual production. And so I spent most of my time here, and they also had most of the artists that I would have watched anyway. The Atmosphere design didn't measure up to the others in my opinion, although, you know, it still looked really good, but it just wasn't as over the top, I guess. They were going for like a sleek, clean look, and I think it just made the others stand out that much more. And Planaxis was just a lot of fun to be in. There was so much to look at between the ocean and nature themed decor, the production, the sea creatures swimming around the outside of the stage, and of course the really, really dope artists that performed there. Overall, the Tomorrowland New Year's Eve stages had more creativity and more detail than their virtual stages from their event back in July. They really leaned into designs that were totally impractical but still contained realistic elements that you would expect to see on an actual in-person stage, like the lights, the lasers, the pyro, even though they had pretty much zero practicality. I mean, Planaxis was literally a structure submerged underwater, which looked really cool, but you know that would never exist. And Melodia had pyrotechnics being shot right at this giant tree, which itself was in an enclosed dome full of people. I mean, like the event planner in me was just kind of dying because I knew that it would not pass a fire inspection in a million years, but it looked so cool, and it was really awesome to just see, again, elements that we're familiar with but used in this impossible way, and it created this mix of like realistic and imaginative, and it was just really cool to see. The dance floors of the surrounding areas and each of the stages also had a little more detail in things like walkways, props, different layers of elevation, and things like that. Across the board, all of the performances were bolstered with incredible lighting, lasers, visual effects. Everything looked absolutely gorgeous, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. The event started with a pretty chill set by Lost Frequencies at Melodia, which was the only set happening at the time. From there, I ended up watching sets by Major Lazer, Medusa, Martin Garrix, Chami, DJ Snoopadelic, and Diplo. My favorite sets of the night were Martin Garrix, obviously, and Major Lazer. They both played at Melodia, which in my opinion was the coolest looking stage. And while I did watch artists at other stages, like I saw Medusa at Atmosphere, and I watched Chami and Diplo at Planaxis, the artists performing at Melodia were just a lot more representative of the artists that I would want to see if I went to Tomorrowland in person. So that's why I spent most of my time there. They did a couple of things differently with the performances, which in my opinion were small details but added a lot, whether you notice it or not. So one thing is they included close-up shots of the crowd from past Tomorrowland events in a way that made it look like people were actually there. They used shots with matching lighting, appropriate expressions. That, along with the CGI audience, made it really feel like that I, or at least somebody, was there watching those artists in person. Another detail that they added were more creative camera shots during the performances. There were just more angles and more moving shots, more dynamic movements, creating a really exciting viewing experience while also showing off more of each of the venues throughout each set. This event was held at a brand new digital venue called Naos, or Naos, or N-A-O-Z. I cannot for the life of me find the correct pronunciation for this word. I'm just gonna call it Naos. I guess sounds right, but it also doesn't sound right. But unlike their main event in July, which was hosted right on the Tomorrowland website, Naos is intended to be a permanent entertainment platform that can be used multiple times. There was an accompanying app where you could perform functions like view set times and chat with other people from around the world who were also attending. And while the app served very little purpose aside from looking at the set times, to be completely honest, I can definitely see how it would be useful for events that have more than just musical performances. Attending the event seemed way less taxing on my laptop this time around. It's possible that it's because I did get a better laptop, but it's a pretty significant improvement. Back in July, I was running this on an older MacBook, just a regular MacBook, not a Pro, and it pretty much couldn't handle it. It would get really, really hot. This time around, I ran it on a PC. It wasn't anything crazy special, but it didn't heat up, didn't get loud or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's because they're now hosting it on this Naos platform as opposed to their website, or if it's just the device, but I thought it was worth noting. There were very limited non-musical activations. No downloadables, lecture videos, or other things like they had at their flagship event in July, but I was okay with that because for an event like New Year's, to be honest, I'm mainly looking for just really good music for an event like this. And finally, the CGI just looked significantly better as a whole. You could see a lot more variation in the audience members, finer details in things like lighting, lasers, pyro, and other production elements. The whole thing just looked gorgeous. So overall, I ended up loving this event as well. I paid like 20 or 25 US dollars for the single night, which I was totally okay with because I got exclusive sets, I got a feeling of connectivity that I wasn't just home alone on New Year's Eve. At least there were people watching the same thing that I was. And while this event leaned a lot more music heavy, thus creating a more passive experience, I thought they made up for it in beautiful CGI, stage design, and of course some really, really great sets from amazing artists. So that's my review of Tomorrowland New Year's Eve. Let me know if you attended anything and what you thought in the comments below. And as we head into what is hopefully an actual festival season this spring and summer, I just wanted to plug an upcoming video that I'm working on titled Why Virtual Festivals Will Stick Around After COVID. My basic thesis is I firmly believe that the industry found some moderate successes in virtual events, and while I don't think a virtual event can necessarily stand on its own, I think we are going to see them accompanying physical events in certain ways. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Subscribe to stay tuned for that video and others that we got coming out in the coming months. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. My name is Ace Antonio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.